Ladies and gentlemen, fight fans all around the world, let's talk some boxing. But before we do, I want to share with you these words. Behold, he is coming with clouds, and every eye will see him. The Son of Man will come in the glory of his Father, with his angels. The Lord himself will descend from heaven with a shout. Watch therefore, for you do not know what hour your Lord is coming. Surely I am coming quickly. Therefore you also be ready. Not get ready, but stay ready. On that note, let's get into boxing. So Floyd Mayweather always talks about being ready and not underestimating any opponent. That's another reason why he's TBE. Where other guys have failed, he didn't fail. He always gets the W, right? So you can go and check my channel on Floyd Mayweather TBE. This is the channel here where it has the playlist Floyd Mayweather TBE. 25 videos. 12 rounds of reason why he is. And some very simplistic reasons for why he is the best ever. Here's how I put it in perspective. In his era, Floyd Mayweather's era, name one fighter who you are sure would beat Floyd Mayweather. You're sure. Better yet, since Floyd Mayweather campaigned at welterweight for a substantial portion of his career, name one fighter from 147 to 154 who you know is a high probability would beat Floyd Mayweather. Go right ahead. You can even mention the current guys right now in the current division from 154 to 147 who you think would beat Floyd Mayweather. Go ahead. Leave your comments in the comment section below before you continue this video. Put your comments in the comment section below before you continue this video. Go ahead, do it right now. Stop the video, pause it, and put who you think more than likely would beat Floyd Mayweather from 147 to 154 in this era. Go ahead and put the name of that person. If you don't have a name, just say I don't have a name. Go ahead, put the name of the person in the comment section below. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with some professionals and their views on who would beat Floyd Mayweather from 147 to 154. Okay? First person we're going to talk about is James Toney. James Toney. Alright? Look at James Toney's professional record, his resume. 91 fights, 76 wins, 10 losses, no knockouts. He's never been knocked out. He knocked out 46 people. Alright? Or he's knocked out people 46 times. He got 3 draws. These are the names of the named opponents that he faced and the named opponents that he beat. Okay? He faced Lucas Brown. He faced Jason Gavern. That's a guy that faced Deontay Wilder. He faced Denis Lebedev, who turned out to be a cruiserweight champion. Okay? He beat Bubby Gunn. That's the guy that faced Roy Jones Jr. recently. He faced Hasim Rahman 3 times. Unfortunately for him, 2 times, sorry. Unfortunately for him, he did knock out Hasim Rahman in 2008 in his 81st fight, but it was ruled a no contest by the California State Athletic Commission. Okay? He had 2 fights with Samuel Peter in which he lost both times. One was by split decision, the other one was because he dropped twice. Okay? Samuel Peter went on to become heavyweight champion of the world. Like I said, the first fight against Hasim Rahman, I thought he beat Hasim Rahman, but they ruled it a draw, a majority draw. Is what it is. That was for the WBC World Heavyweight title. He also beat John Ruiz. He stopped him in the 7th round, but because he was tested positive for a banned testosterone-based substance, it was revoked and turned into a no decision. He also beat Evander Holyfield, knocking him out in the 9th round. All of these guys are names. Alright? Now at cruiserweight, he faced and beat Mike McCallum. Alright, that was in 1997. Faced Montel Griffin twice, I think, or 3 times in his career. Was beaten all 3 times. Montel Griffin was a world champion, super middleweight world champion. There it is. He lost to Montel Griffin, it was only twice, by majority decision. He also faced Roy Jones Jr. It was a very good competitive fight until Tony was dropped in the 3rd round. He was, of course, multiple weight world champion. He also faced Mike McCallum, like I said, twice. Iron Barkley at super middleweight, Mike McCallum at middleweight. Twice he drew with Mike McCallum, then he beat him by majority decision. He also beat the middleweight champion Reggie Johnson, and he knocked out in the 11th round Michael Nunn, who was outboxing him. The great Michael Nunn. Okay? This guy got a resume, right? This is what James Toney had to say about Floyd Mayweather and competition. Who would beat him?
Then a lot of people said they want to see Mayweather fight Golovkin, and Golovkin's people told me Golovkin's willing to come down to 154 to fight Floyd. Who wins that fight? 154, Golovkin Mayweather. Yeah, you want it. Golovkin Mayweather, 154.
You know what I'm gonna say. Mayweather. They know what I'm gonna say.
Mayweather? Why Mayweather?
Yeah, you know. Truth be Mayweather. Hey, that was a mistake. Stay with the CP. He be stronger. He can't be Mayweather at 154. Can't nobody be Mayweather at 147, 154.
You heard James Toney. He said nobody beats Mayweather from 147 to 154. Alright? That's James Toney, professional in the sport. Don't change your decision now. Don't change what you wrote down. If you wrote down a name, we're going to talk about it in the discussion section. But this is what James Toney had to say. And by the way, he's one of the greatest defensive fighters of all time. From Grand Rapids, Michigan. Vinny Pazienza. Vinny Pazienza had 60 fights. 10 losses, 3 by knockout. 50 wins, 30 by knockout. Vinny Pazienza beat the likes of fighters such as, and faced, Pat Lawler, who was once middleweight champion of the world. He also faced Roy Jones Jr. for the IBF Super Middleweight Championship. He was knocked out in the 6th round. He beat Roberto Duran twice. He beat Lloyd Hunnigan, who was the undisputed welterweight champion of the world, and he was super welterweight champion as well. He beat Greg Hogan a number of times. Greg Hogan was actually a lightweight world champion. Okay. He faced Hector Camacho and Roger Mayweather at super lightweight. He didn't win against those guys. He beat Greg Hogan, was the lightweight champion of the world. So that's basically all the names he beat. So this guy has names behind his reputation. He was multiple divisional world champion. Okay, this is what Vinny Pazienza has to say on Floyd Mayweather. By the way, shout out to Ali Sekback News for the first interview. Now shout out to Dante's Boxing Nation for the second interview. Let's go.
There you go. Hey, speaking of haters, man, what do you think about Floyd Mayweather?
I love Floyd. He's great for boxing. And there's only one guy that's gonna beat Floyd, and I hope he don't deal with him. It's a guy called Father Time.
Yeah, I like that.
That's the only guy that's gonna beat him.
Yeah.
Other than that, he wins all the time. You can't hit him.
Yeah.
You throw a battle race and you can't hit him. How the hell I know you beat somebody like that?
Yeah.
Impossible.
So what do you think about when people say Manny Pacquiao would beat him? What do you say to people who say that?
I said, you know what? You might be a nice person, but you're dumb. Because that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
They could fight 10 times, Floyd beats him 10 times, and maybe knocks him out 4 times.
Yeah.
Man, he's tough as nails. You gotta love him. I love him. He's awesome. But he can't beat Floyd. It's like me when I fought Roy Jones. I'm a great guy. I'm an awesome fighter. I'm tough as nails. I couldn't beat Roy Jones.
Yeah.
That's Vinny Pazienza on who beats Floyd Mayweather. Now, the last person I want to talk about and his opinion, don't change your opinion now, shout out to Ali Sekback News again, is Stuart Scott, the late great Stuart Scott, ESPN news anchor, okay, sporting news anchor. And This is what he had to say. Well, you can see the title as well. Shout out to Ellie Sekback News.
What do you think about the fight, the rematch? You saw the first one, I'm sure, Mayweather Maidana.
Yeah.
What do you think of it?
Ain't nobody beating Money Mayweather. Period.
You heard it. Nobody's beating Money Mayweather. Period. That's what Stuart Scott said pretty much before the rematch against Marcos Maidana. And then, unfortunately, he died before he could see the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight. But his view was that Mayweather would beat Pacquiao. He thought that maybe 5 years before, in 2010, if they would have fight, maybe Pacquiao would have had the greatest chance of beating Mayweather, but he just never saw anybody ever beating Mayweather. Alright? Here's Max Kellerman. He's another professional in the sport of boxing. And Max Kellerman's going to break it down. He's talking mostly about Mayweather versus Pacquiao, which is pretty interesting. But still, nonetheless, he's going to break it down why he actually thought way back in 2010, Max Kellerman, by the way, doesn't say that in this interview, that Floyd would beat Pacquiao in 2010 as well. He actually thought so. And even after the fight now, when he looked back in retrospect, he's thinking maybe Floyd would have knocked Pacquiao out because Pacquiao was much more careless. So that's Max Kellerman's view. I'm just letting you guys know. Here's what Max Kellerman had to say. This is before Mayweather-Pacquiao. By the way, all of these interviews we had were before Mayweather faced Pacquiao. Just letting you know. Alright, let's go.
Max, let's talk a little bit about May 2nd, and let's talk about how the two fighters specifically match up stylistically. What are your thoughts?
There's no surprise. You have one of the appeals of the fight, and there are many, is that Floyd Mayweather is one of the, three best pure boxers since the Second World War, Pernell Whitaker, Willie Pep, and Manny Pacquiao is, I'd say, one of the three best attacking fighters, since the Second World War, or since the 30s, Henry Armstrong, Roberto Duran. So you got the great defender against the great attacker. Usually that favors the defender, especially if he's the naturally bigger guy who's maybe a little closer to his prime. But Pacquiao's got real chances. He's got not only quick hands but quick feet, and he's able to not just one of these southpaws can get off a combination quickly and from a weird angle, but he can do it where every shot can hurt you. So, listen, if you need me to tell you why this is an interesting fight at this point, for crying out loud, come on, what kind of question?
How do you feel that Floyd will hit? You just talked about Manny's hand speed and his foot speed.
Yeah.
Floyd hasn't seen that since Zabjula. How do you feel he will be able to handle that speed at this point?
Floyd is in a position where his opponent sees, I can't hit him. That's how he suppresses the opponent's offense. Why doesn't that guy just attack him? Because he's not in a position to attack him. Or he's just going to throw punches? So that's the first thing. He maintains position where the other guy can see, especially experienced fighters can see, I can't get to him. So they're not moving their hands. The next thing is, Floyd is an underrated puncher. As I mentioned, early in his career, he had hand problems. He's thinking be perfect first, so he doesn't expose himself unnecessarily to risk. So that suppresses his knockout percentage. What do you want me to tell you?
Sorry.
That suppresses his knockout percentage. But he hits hard enough where guys like Canelo Alvarez, who's a big, strong junior middleweight, who is not afraid to spread, realize I'm not just going to come in on this guy because he can make me pay. Not just score points that the judges are seeing, but make me pay physically. Straight right hands right off the ropes to the body. Floyd has more pop than giving credit for. So one, you're not in position to throw. Two, if you try to force it, he's going to counter with something that's going to make you pay for it. He suppresses your offense, and he's going to try to do the same thing against Manny Pacquiao.
Last thing, talk a little bit about my man from Providence, Demetrius Andrade.
So, Max kind of breaks it down that Floyd, he's good at getting into position, he's good at controlling range, and he has some pop. Alright? He's not just trying to score little points on you, he's actually got some pop to let you know, okay, this is what's up. Okay? And then it's very hard for you to hit him. So, Max just breaks it down why Floyd Mayweather Jr. is someone that is very difficult to beat. I'm not saying that Floyd Mayweather Jr. is not beatable, but he makes it dang hard for you to beat him. You have to have a greater will to win than him. You have to have the ability to nullify his ability to nullify you. And you must be able to adapt on the drop of a dime. And then Floyd changes the range all the time, so you're either a little too close or a little too far away. On top of that, he got good defense. On top of that, he's got good offense. On top of that, he can counter you very well. On top of that, he's also good at mounting offense on you so that you can't counter him. So it's all these little things that make Floyd so difficult to face. Which comes back to the initial question. Who in this era do you think, I'm talking about current and in the past, would be able to beat Floyd Mayweather from 147 to 154? Who? Now, if you answer no one, I'll make it easier for you. I'll make it easy for you. Think about it this way. Right now, currently, we have some super welterweights. We're not even going to talk about welterweights because we know Floyd beats all the welterweights. All right? Let's go up to the super welterweight division. Right now, we got the Charlo brothers. They have titles. We got Demetrius Andre, who won a title last night. And we got Armstrong Lar. Which one of those guys, I'm going to make it easy for you guys. Which one of those guys Floyd has very little chance of beating? I didn't say they have very little chance of beating Floyd. No, let's flip the script. Floyd has very little chance of beating them. Which one of them? Is it Armstrong Lar, Demetrius Andre, is it the Charlo brothers? Or is it Demetrius Andre? Right? Which one? Floyd has very little chance of beating. If you can't say any one of those guys Floyd has very little chance of beating, it means you're not confident that any one of those fighters could beat Floyd Mayweather. Maybe you believe that they give him a good run for his money, but you don't believe in your heart that they can beat him. So again, I say to you, list a fighter in Floyd Mayweather's era who you know most likely would beat him. And if you can't list that fighter, guess what? For every single fighter in every single era I know of, I can list a fighter in their era who beat them and very likely would beat them again because they did it. Okay? When you think of Sugar Ray Leonard, I have 3 fighters who I can think of who would beat him. Hector Camacho, because he did beat him, but he never faced Hector Camacho. Aaron Pryor, he never fought Aaron Pryor. And, of course, Terry Norris. There ain't no way in hell Sugar Ray Leonard was going to beat Terry Norris. Just what it is. Oh, I got a 4th one. Thomas the Hitman Hearns. I don't think Sugar Ray Leonard would beat Hearns like he did the first time, because he didn't beat him the second time. In fact, we can argue Hearns beat Leonard. And I thought if they fought a 3rd time, Hearns would beat Leonard again, because he never faced Thomas Hearns after that. Okay? So I got 4 fighters. Sugar Ray Robinson, he never faced Charlie Burley. But we saw him get beat by Randy Turpin. And Burley was better than Randy Turpin. And he was having a hard time with Randy Turpin the second time around. So I can clearly say Charlie Burley. And he got beat by Gene Fullmer 2 times out of the 4 times. He only beat Gene Fullmer once. And he was in his prime still. The end of his prime, but he was in his prime when Gene Fullmer beat him. Okay? So Gene Fullmer is another one. That's 2. And the rest of the fighters kind of beat him out of his prime, like Hector Camacho beat Sugar Ray Leonard. But nonetheless, we still got to mention these guys. So we have Paul Pender, who beat him twice. I'm not really high on Paul Pender, though. I think he would have beaten Paul Pender. But I can't remember the other two guys' name. Danny Moyer beat him, but he beat Danny Moyer, so I'm not going to count Danny Moyer. It's another guy I'm thinking of. He's got an Italian name who I think would beat him. And also I thought a guy like maybe Emil Griffith or Dick Tiger will give him a run for his money, probably beat him as well. Because of the high guard stance that Dick Tiger had and Emil Griffith. I think those two guys would beat him. Alright? So, in the end of the day, Gene Fullmer beat Sugar Ray Robinson comprehensively. Once he stopped Gene Fullmer came back and beat him still. Alright? So, at the end of the day, Gene Fullmer proved that he would beat him the majority of times. Alright? So, there's no if or buts. I know who would beat Sugar Ray Robinson. Right? Now, nobody ever beat Floyd Mayweather Jr. in the ring. Legitimately. So at the end of the day, I'm asking you again, because we know Henry Armstrong got beat in the prime of his career, right? Barney Ross beat him. Who else beat him? There's another guy that beat him in the prime of his career. Fritzy Zivic beat him at the end. So we could call Fritzy Zivic too because he beat him, but I mean it was at the end of his career nonetheless. But yeah, you could call Fritzy Zivic as well. All right. But these guys got beat, so we know they could be beat. They're beatable. Now, Mayweather's not saying that he's unbeatable, but nobody ever beat him. That's the problem. So, because these guys in this era, the best of this era, faced him, and they didn't beat him, I'm asking you again, who in this era you think would beat him? Now, you got to back it up in the comment section below. You're going to have to back it up, because I'm going to be I'm going to go in on that debate, but nonetheless, you have to name that, and that's why I said he's TBE. Because you can't name a fighter. Most of you gonna scratch your heads and wonder, and when I start the debate, and you will realize why. You might put yourself in hot water trying to mention a name from this era that would beat Floyd Mayweather. He was that dominant in his era. And he was the pound for pound best fighter in the spirit of Sugar Ray Robinson. He's the pound for pound best of his era. And he never got beaten once. And people talk about, oh, well, it's not the O that matters. Absolutely, I agree with you. But there's still nobody that beat him. That's the point. Nobody beat him. And that's and he fought the best of his era. Okay? So you can't say nothing if you can't mention a fighter right now in this era who you think would beat him. And if you did mention a fighter, you're going to have to back it up now. You're going to have to back it up. Because I'm coming for you. Right? Alright, so on that note, that's another reason why he's TBE. That's another reason why it's very easy for me to see that he's the best ever. You guys have a great one. And it's not about the O. He wasn't afraid to let it go. It was about the fact that the best came to fight him and they could not beat him. And most of them that he fought, he made it look easy when he beat them. He made it look so easy. Okay? So go ahead and think about what I just said. If you want to change your comments now, you can go ahead and change them. You guys have a great one. I'll come for y'all in the comment section.